pattern is, switch that up. And I hope that it feels a little bit awkward. If it feels uncomfortable in any of your joints, then please feel welcome to modify. If you have a knee that doesn't like it, you know, you can always extend that leg, things like that. But the objective in that it's maybe slightly uncomfortable is that that should just be another way that you're more on your mat in your practice and a little bit less distracted by everything else. So here, making any little shifts that you need to, begin to find a quality of grounding down through the bony points of your butt or through your sits bones. And notice how that starts to provide you the lightness and lift through the inner body. Allow your elbows to be soft and heavy. Feel for gently floating the back of your skull back and up. If you would like, you're welcome to close your eyes. You can also keep them open, and we'll just set intention for the opening of practice. For tonight's practice, I invite you to set intention around curiosity or wonder. So specifically around kind of getting into the subtleties of the sensations that arise during practice, the things that may come to mind during practice, maybe even just getting curious about the associations with different things. And so I'll allow you to kind of take whatever inspires you from that and weave that into your practice. And it may be something really abstract, just like, you know, clean slate right now. And then as we move on, you'll notice that something more vivid or more specific comes in, and just holding space for that. So as you breathe here, go ahead and invite in your intention. And then as you exhale, surrender and release anything that does not serve your intention. So any opposing thoughts, any opposing sensations, anything that's not going to serve you right now at this moment. Let that go for the next hour. And we'll breathe here for another 2 breaths like that. Inhale, inspiring intention. And exhaling and surrendering that which does not serve. And 1 more breath like that. Inhale. Exhale. And then go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. It's called Anjali Mudra. It means skill of wisdom. So inviting your heart to your thumbs. Again, allowing those shoulders to relax. Allowing your face to relax. Feeling intention with this mudra. Offering it breath. Inhale. And then as you exhale, invite your hands forward. You can roll over the ankles or swing feet around. And you'll come into tables. We're going to come into hands and knees to begin. I always like to start off warming up through the middle of the body before we get into the limbs. So focusing on the spine here, let's get out of locking the elbows, let the elbows become soft. Press the finger pads firmly into the mat, press the tops of the feet to the mat. You'll notice that gives you a little bit of a lift through the front body. So you start to actively lift and engage through your deeper core. And then keeping that quality of lift, extend your spine up for your heart. Maybe you lift your gaze, keep enough space for the back of the neck that you can feel on it. On an exhale, round your spine. As you round, you make this as challenging as you want. So you can maybe even float your knees up if you want to add a little bit more core work, but keep pressure through the tops of the feet so that you are actively lifting. Think of pressing the low back up to the sky. Inhale, extend, inviting the armpits to draw in, keeping the shoulders nice and open. And as you exhale, round. And we'll do 4 more breaths like that. Inhale, feel the movement come through the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Exhale from the hips, low back, mid back, upper back, and the neck. Inhale from the hips, low back, mid back, upper back, and the neck. Exhale from the hips, low back, mid back, upper back, and the neck. Inhale, feeling that movement pour like a wave through the spine into extension. Exhale, feeling that movement pour like a wave through the spine into flexion. 1 more breath like that. Inhale fully. And then on your exhale, softly find the neutral spine. So neither extended nor flexed, just finding a nice neutral for you. If you'd like, you're welcome to shift your weight forward and back, really tuning into foundation. And then invite your hips back slightly so the heel of the hands can lift up. So you want lightness in your hands here. They're no longer a really weight-bearing surface. From there, unravel your right arm up. See how your shoulder tolerates that. I always like to think of it as like drawing the string of a bow, if you can imagine that. And just notice along that range of motion, any little catches or funky twinges that come with that. And then relax your wrist, relax your elbow. So kind of like a loose marionette string there. Begin to create some circle swirling movements with this right arm. Maybe they take on the shape of like a funnel cloud. And then reverse direction with those circles. And reach up through the center of that circle. Inhale, and as you exhale, thread this right arm through behind the left wrist and bend your left elbow straight back to hover off the mat. That right shoulder will hover off the mat. We'll open it back up. Inhale, take that right arm up. Exhale, thread it through and hover. And one more time, inhale, open it up. Exhale, thread it through, and this time you'll place the right shoulder on the mat. The right side of the skull will rest on the mat. And then that left arm can wrap around behind the back, reaching that left hand toward your right hip. So you'll create somewhat of a bind there. If your shoulder doesn't like that, then you can also take the left hand out overhead, and this might be nice for balance too. So just see which one of those speaks to your shoulder tonight. And I'll offer you an option here. You'll press firm through your right shin and start to reach that left leg back. Now you might just have the toes tucked on the mat or floor for tonight, or you might start to take the leg up. You want to see what balance, what breath gives you for information about that. So if you feel like you're holding your breath, that's typically a sign that maybe you need to back off a little bit and reintegrate your foundation. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths, feeling for that quality of stability, that quality of openness, that quality of curiosity within intention setting. Inhale. Exhale, softly start to bring that left knee back under the hip if the leg was back. Invite your left hand back so that it is comfortably on that outer edge of the mat. And on the inhale, open up to the right, and you'll send your right foot back. Right arm unravels up again. So we're finding what's called side gate, or a modified version of side plank. From here, invite that right arm out over the top edge of the mat. Feel for rainbowing through right side body. So I'm going to feel a nice stretch there through that side body, through the space in between the ribs and the hip. Inhale. And then as you exhale, softly release, right hand and knee, come back to the mat. The weight is back, the hands are light here. Switch sides, unravel that left arm up. Start to find those circles, those gentle, soft circles there through the wrist and elbow. So when we soften the outer part of the limb, what we achieve is isolation in the shoulders. So that's what we're looking for. We want to illuminate and wake up all those muscles around the rotator cuff. Investigate what's alive, investigate what needs to shift. And then change direction with those circles. Reverse it. And just notice how it feels on this side. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's really different. Reach up through the middle. Inhale. As you exhale, thread it through. Hover that left shoulder off the mat. Your right elbow bends straight back. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, thread it through and hover. Inhale, open it up. And one more time, exhale, thread it through, and this time place the back of your left arm, left hand on the mat, left side of the skull. And with that right arm, you can wrap it around toward the left hip, or again, try that modified version of the hand at the top of the mat. So if your shoulder doesn't like that wrapping movement, that tends to be one of those ranges of motion that people's shoulders find a little bit more challenging, that internal rotation. So just kind of finding a place for that right arm that's going to make sense without making the shoulder uncomfortable. Once you've found that placement, you're welcome to experiment with sending that right leg back. And maybe you work with the toes on the mat tonight. If you're feeling like you want to try to take the leg up for a balance challenge, please feel welcome. It's okay if you roll over. That's all part of the practice. So just kind of see where it goes. Stay in your breath. We'll remain here for another 2 breaths. Even quality between inhale and exhale. And one more breath there. Inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bring that right knee underneath the hip, right hand to the long side of the mat. Inhale, open up to the left, sending that left hand up, left foot back, finding that side gate, that modified side plank there. Send your left arm out over the top edge of the mat. Now notice your right shoulder, right elbow here. So while we focus on this top limb, we also want awareness in the foundation. So we're softening through that right elbow. We're dropping that right shoulder away from the ear. Feeling that left side body open and lengthen. Inhale. On your exhale, go ahead and find center, finding that tabletop position here. From table, tuck your toes. Inhale, extend the spine, and on your exhale, invite your hips to float back and up toward downward facing dog. Now, down dog, there's a lot of reasons why this posture can become quite strenuous and really, really challenging, despite the fact that it's often touted as a more resting posture. So ignore having your heels to the mat. Forget about that. That's not the goal of the pose. The objective here in down dog should be about equality of lightness. And so one of the ways that I like to illustrate that for people is think of it like a really well-engineered tensile structure or well-engineered bridge
versus like a rickety old Indiana Jones bridge you wouldn't be comfortable crossing. So those hips reach back and up. And then the back of the heart gets light. You'll notice that that will take a lot of the strain out of the shoulder joint. So feel welcome to get buoyant through the upper back. And then just let your neck be soft, head be heavy there. And again, heels don't have to be down. You can have as much bend in the knees as you need. So the weight feels pretty even there, and you're not overloading the shoulders, not overstraining the back line of the body. Let's stay there for another breath, and then take the gaze forward between the thumbs. Lift your heels, inhale. On your exhale, tiptoe your feet to the top of the mat. And when you come up, bend your knees as you get close, draw the low belly in, and then invite the feet side by side with about a foot distance in between and soften into a gentle forward fold. You're welcome to reach the opposite elbows, finding a little bit of a ragdoll sway there. You're just allowing the back line of the body to start to lengthen and open. Bring awareness into your feet. We often seek to find sensation by dropping back. I invite you to get curious about finding an even quality between the ball of the foot, the center of the heel, and the ball of the baby toe. And that might feel like you're backing off. That might feel like you're going to dive forward. So I want you to just experiment with that sensation and see what it feels like. And then release your hands toward the earth. Lift and spread the toes. Those knees have a bend in them. Inhale. As you exhale, press firm to the ball of the foot, weight to a flat back position. Notice that your weight doesn't drop back into your heels. Bring the hands toward the thighs. Draw those elbows close to the ribs so their shoulders draw down away from the ears. Good. And then from there, gently release. So we'll use that as our transitional place. Get soft here again. Bend the knees. Inhale. As you exhale, press firm into the ball of the foot, weight to that flat back. Stay here. Elbows hug close, soften the knees just a little bit more. See if you can almost like grab your toes into the mat. Start to feel your glutes fire up for that. And then go ahead and come up tall with a flat back. Float the arms up, the heart up, palms together. Inhale. As you exhale, hands come to the heart. Check in here. Notice some tension. Revisit that curiosity-inspired intention. Inhale. As you exhale, hands release. Mountain pose to Tadasana. Inhale. Float the arms up, palms up. On your exhale, fold. So we'll come up again. This time we're going to come up with a slightly different type of transition. So from your fold, let your neck be soft, head heavy. And this time we'll invite the spine to stack one vertebrae at a time. So the knees soften, lift and spread your toes. Inhale. As you exhale, press into your feet, start to gently roll up. Feel for lifting in and up through the inner thighs, front lumbar spine. Vertebrae stacks one at a time. The head comes up last. You should feel kind of a stretch along the spine with that. Float the arms of the heart up, and this time lift your heart, finding just the slightest back bend and extension. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, cleansing breath. Exhale, release. Inhale, float the arms up, the heart up, soften your knees. As you exhale, fold. Invite your hands to the earth. Take them wide. So you want your hands not with distance apart. Step or float your feet back to high plank. Please feel welcome to modify with your knees down on the mat. So from high plank, hold. Suction cup your armpits in. Start to notice the recruitment, the stability through your shoulders. Your gaze is forward off the top edge of the mat. Swing forward an inch. Inhale. As you exhale, lower halfway or higher. Release your knees to the mat. Inhale, finding a seal pose or very wide upward facing dog. So your elbows have play. Shoulders draw down away from the ears. The spine is long. Inhale. On your exhale, draw your hips back and up. Find melting heart pose or happy puppy pose. Your hands are wide. Your hips are lifted. You can bring your chin to the mat. You can turn your head and rest the cheek on the mat. Begin to alternately shift your weight side to side. So you feel this illumination between left and right side. And just notice you should start to feel a little bit of a stretch there through the chest. A huge culprit for shoulder tension and for some of the accommodations that we make when we're recovering from shoulder injuries occurs in the chest. So a lot of times pec minor being one of the primary factors in that will get really, really, really tight, and then it limits the shoulder recovery after that. So we isolate that a little bit here. One more breath in this place. Inhale. As you exhale, start to rise. Bring your hands in so that they're comfortably under the shoulders and table. Tuck the toes, offer the heart. Inhale. On your exhale, invite those hips to float back and up, finding that downward facing dog here. From down dog, step your left foot to midline, bend your right knee, floating that right foot up off the mat. So we're finding a three-legged dog there. That right leg can be bent. You can have it extended long if that feels stable there, but I want you to notice what the shoulders do and where the weight is in your hands. So if you start to take that leg too far back, Maybe you shift too much into that left hand. See if you can keep the weight even. Inhale. As you exhale, lift your left heel, round your spine, and allow that to take you forward, bringing that right knee in toward the heart. The arms are long. The spine is round. You're reaching the low back up. You can modify this with the left knee down if necessary. Inhale, send that right leg back and up, or keep that right knee bent. On your exhale, hug it in. So we're coming into what's called cheetah pose. And we'll do this again one more time. Inhale to get back and up. And as you exhale, hug it in and hold here. And then place that right foot down behind the right hand. You can manually help it up. If it doesn't make it all the way, just grab the ankle, manually help it up. From there, we'll find runner's lunge. So the spine is long and the hands are light. You are welcome to use blocks underneath your hands. Your gaze is forward here. Inhale. On your exhale, press into that right foot, kick the left foot up, drawing that left heel toward your left side of your seat. You're crawling into those left hamstrings. Inhale. And on your exhale, place that left foot down next to the right, fold forward. Your feet have about a fist distance apart. Pull the hips back here. Spread and lift the toes. Inhale. On your exhale, come on up for chair pose, but forget about the arms for now. So we're taking that kind of squat position. Your hips pull back. The front lumbar spine is lifting. And rather than extending the arms like we might classically, let's bring the hands right into the hip crease. So create a fist there, right in between the thighs and the low belly. And then find extension in the spine again. Inhale. And as you exhale, round the spine. Inhale, extend. Keep those toes lifted and spread, shoulders wide. Exhale, round. So you start to feel an alternate back front body action here. Inhale, extend one more time. Exhale, round. Inhale, find neutral. So what is that place that's neither extended nor rounded for you? So it'll be different for each body. And then bring your hands to the heart there. Inhale. As you exhale, twist this over toward your right. Now notice that that left knee doesn't pitch forward. Maybe that left elbow finds the outside of the right knee. Maybe it's nowhere near there. Maybe if we do that, all we're doing is doing something strange in the shoulders and the spine hasn't twisted more. So just notice like how much of that can be a core-driven twist. And then find center. Inhale. And let's take it to the other side. Exhale, twist it to the left. And notice that the body's twisting itself. So it's not pulling the elbow over and doing something weird with the shoulder. It's driven by the obliques. It's driven by all those deep muscles along the spine. Take it to center. Feel the fire in the thighs. One more time to the right. Inhale. As you exhale, take it over to the right. So that Pravita Utkatasana, that revolved chair pose. And back to center. Inhale, shoulders open and wide, front lumbar spine lifted. And exhale over to the left. And back to center, inhale, and as you exhale all the way to standing, release the hands, shake it out, little mountain pose there, flip the arms up, the heart up, palms together, inhale. As you exhale, fold, release, come down. So now we've warmed up a little bit. We'll invite a little bit more space into the back body. Embrace the legs here, so you can bring your hands behind your shins, and you can wrap the arms behind the knees. You'll have a micro bend in the back of the leg. Soften your knees quite a bit there for a moment. Let your neck be soft, head be heavy. Inhale. As you exhale, lengthen the back of the thighs, hug the heart to the thighs. So you might even get a little shake there, a little tremor. On the inhale, soften. As you exhale, hug and lengthen, maybe a little bit deeper. One more time, inhale, soften. Exhale, hug and lengthen. And inhale, soften and release. Take your hands wide, not with distance apart. Look forward, inhale. As you exhale, float or step both feet back to high plank. So the hands will stay wide for this version of plank. It's a little nicer for the shoulders than that sort of short placement that's classic. The gaze is forward. You're actively hugging the ankles to each other, the inner thighs, the knees, the low belly zips up. Inhale forward. Exhale, lower halfway or higher. Inhale to that up dog or that seal pose. And this time, tops of the feet press firm. And we'll exhale to take it all the way back to downward facing dog. Invite your hands into a comfortable distance apart. Set that right foot into midline. Get light in the left foot. Bend the left knee. Float the left foot up. Modify with the right knee down if necessary. Add challenge. Send that left leg back. Notice that the weight is even in the hands. Inhale. On your exhale, that right heel lifts the spine rounds, and you'll invite that left knee into the heart for cheetah pose. Send it back and up to that 3-point dog. Inhale. As you exhale, hug it in. Finding that cheetah pose. Left knee is as close to the heart as possible. Arms pressed long, spine is round. One more time. Inhale, send it back. And on your exhale, hug it in. And this time, let that carry your left foot all the way up behind left hand. So deep core work to get it up there. Find length in the spine, runner's lunge. Hands are light here. You're welcome to use blocks if you'd like for balance. Bring awareness into that left foot. Inhale. As you exhale, your right foot kicks up. Right heel draws in toward the seat. So there's a little hamstring curl there. The spine is long. The low belly is lifted. Inhale. As you exhale, step that right foot down next to the left. Pull the hips back. Inhale. As you exhale, take the arms up, finding that Utkatasana, that chair pose. So again, neutral spine, front lumbar spine is lifted. Weight is dominantly in the heels for this version of this pose. Release your hands down. Keep that deep squat in the legs. Inhale. Swim through the shoulders. Roll through the shoulders. Float your arms up. Exhale. Release it down. So just notice the difference between left and right side. Inhale. Roll it up. Just observing it, not judging it. And one more time. Inhale. Roll it up. Notice all the sensations that come with that. Palms together. Inhale. As you exhale, hands to the heart. Pull the hips back a little bit more, a little bit deeper. Inhale. On your exhale, fold and release. Shake out the thighs there for a moment. Take your left foot and step it to the outside of the right. So you step that left foot leg across the front of the right. And then very important here, notice that your right knee has a micro bend. So when we cross the leg, it's not uncommon to put enough pressure to hyperextend that right knee. So just notice you have a little bend there. Begin to walk your hands out to your left. You're reaching long through your right arm. So you'll feel a pretty bright stretch through the outside of that right hip, through the outside of the right side ribs, that whole right lateral line, brightening up there. Inhale. And then as you exhale, gently take it back to center and we'll switch. So we'll uncross and then place the right foot outside the left and that right low leg goes in front of the left. Micro bend that left knee. Walk your hands out to the right, reach long through your left arm. Notice that the weight hasn't dropped back into your left heel, so you're even in those 3 points of the foot. Feel that space on the left side body, opening and illuminating. Inhale. Exhale to get back to center. So you start to mobilize a little bit more through the lateral line there. From here, soften the knees here, relax the neck, lift and spread the toes. Inhale. As you exhale, one vertebrae at a time comes all the way to standing. Pressing into the feet, zipping up through the inner body. Float the arms up, the heart up. Capture your left wrist with your right hand. Inhale. As you exhale, invite that body to bend out to your right side, finding standing crescent. Keep the weight even in the feet. Feel for that left side opening. Take it back to center. Inhale, switch the clasp. Left hand takes right wrist. Exhale, bend it out to the left side. Get back to center. Inhale. Exhale, softly release. Inhale, float the arms up, the heart up, palms together. Soften the knees. Exhale, fold. Hands are on the mat here. Get light in your left heel. So you want to tent the fingers on the mat. You are welcome to use blocks to modify if you need a little extra support there. Float that left foot off the mat by bending the knee and then take that left knee to the back of your right low leg. So we're setting up for what's called Kundalini squat or Shiva squat. So here, you're pretty deep into the legs there. You are welcome to keep the hands down. You can add challenge by bringing the hands to the heart, so that's a good balance challenge. You can also do a little bit of a binding action by taking that right hand back to that left foot and that left hand down to the right foot. One of my favorite postures. Builds a lot of leg strength, a lot of hip stability. Another breath there. Inhale. As you exhale, gently release that left foot back, framing the right foot with the hands, finding that runner stretch. From here, allow your left toes to turn out slightly. Let the heels start to soften toward the earth. Pull the hips back a little bit. With a little bend in the right leg, start to slowly come up tall. So we want that right knee either above or behind the ankle. So we're coming up. Those left toes are pointed out slightly. Notice that your left foot, your toes, your knee, and your hip all point the same place. So if the toes are overly rotated out, you're going to put a little rotation in the knee, which is not ideal at all. Notice that your front leg, your kneecap, your second toe are pointing the same place. From there, bring your hands to your rib cage. So just bring the hands to the bottom of the ribs. Inhale. On your exhale, twist, just like you did in that chair pose earlier. So you're going to twist and square the shoulders to the top of the mat. Take the arms up, take the heart up. You're finding warrior one. Virabhadrasana one. Inhale. On your exhale, your heart opens out to the left side. The arms extend out, and you're finding warrior two. Invite that left hand down to the left thigh, and then start to take it across the back toward your right hip. Right palm faces up. Relax those shoulders down the back. Extend the spine, finding that exalted warrior, that reverse warrior. Notice that you keep the bend in the right leg. So it is extension. You're lifting, you're lengthening through that right side body. Inhale. On your exhale, the neutral alignment comes back into the spine. Inhale, and then as you exhale, twist. Keep that left arm bent. So you're in a half bound warrior one. Left arm stays back there, shoulders square. Inhale. As you exhale, you're opening through the right, extending the spine to that reverse warrior. So it's kind of an odd transition. Just play with it. Inhale. Exhale. Come up and twist. Square the heart to the top of the mat. Warrior one. Right arm's extended. It should be getting tired. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, finding that reverse warrior. Right arm reaches back. Right leg, keep that lunge. Inhale. And then as you exhale, come down to the inside of your right leg. Right hand comes down. The left arm stays bound. Let the neck be soft, the head be heavy, and a half-bound humble warrior. You can add depth to this. So you can stay here. It can be quite passive. Or you can start to cup the back of that right heel and see if you can deepen, maybe even imagine bringing that right shoulder behind that right thigh. So you play with these things. They're just kind of general destination points, not necessarily the goal of the practice tonight, but places that you could possibly go. One more breath there in that humble warrior. Softly release that left arm down, so it should feel pretty relaxed now. And then untuck the right arm, place it to the outside of the right foot, framing that right foot. Lift both heels. As you lift the heels, pivot on the ball of the left foot. So the left hip then frames forward. Get light in that right leg. Inhale, and as you exhale, your right foot steps back to high plank, meeting right next to the left. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower halfway or higher. Inhale, upward facing dog, tops of the feet press firm. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here in down dog. Play with that inhale, play with the exhale. Revisit intention. Find the quality of softness in those elbows. Roll through the shoulders. Notice all the space that you can create when you invite that awareness in. Let it be that tensile structure, that nice well-engineered bridge, those hips floating back and up, that upper back buoyant and light. Continue to breathe there. Get light in that left foot. Inhale. Float that left foot up. As you exhale, round through the spine. Take that left foot behind left thumb. Get light in the hands here. Take the gaze forward. Runner's lunge. Inhale. As you exhale, that right knee comes into the back of the left low leg for that kundalini squat again. So we can play with bringing the hands to the heart. We can play with finding that bind there. The right hand down to the left foot. Left hand out to the right foot. A little challenge for the nervous system. Navigating the difference between left and right side. Let's stay here for another 2 breaths. Notice that the inner body is lifting. You're feeling for hugging it up through Mula Bandha, through Uddiyana Bandha. The back of the heart is light. The face is relaxed. One more breath there. Hands release down. Inhale, take that right foot back. Right toes are tucked. Pull the hips back. And then invite those right toes to turn out slightly as the heel seeks the mat. You're opening the angle behind that left knee. Inhale as you exhale, gently, slowly take it up 1 vertebrae at a time. We're open to the right side of the mat. We're lunging into that left leg. Notice that the knee is above or behind the ankle. Right toes, right knee, right hip, all align the same place. So if you drew a line, it would point to the same spot on the wall. When we overly open that back foot, what happens, especially in warrior ones, you'll hear that cueing, like spread the hips to the top of the mat. We end up having to twist the knee, which, as you, I'm sure, know, especially being in snowboarding, you don't want to be twisting your knees. It's not ideal. So that toes turned in helps to navigate around that. And then we twist the spine. So let's bring the hands to the hips. Find that rotation. Find that deep forward. Extend the arms here. Open up. Inhale. As you exhale, open to the right, finding that warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Relax those shoulders down with mirrors. You can isometrically draw your feet together to create stability. Release that right arm down. Option of sweeping the right arm around behind the back toward that left hip, left palm up. And then find that reverse warrior. Keep that lunge in your left leg. Inhale. Keep the bind. Exhale, take it up. Twist the heart to the top of the mat. So it's a half bound warrior one. Inhale. As you exhale, revisit that reverse square. So we're getting this nice kind of massaging quality into the obliques on the left side there. Inhale. As you exhale, twist and open the heart to the top of the mat. Warrior one with the half bind. Inhale. One more time. Exhale, reverse square. Feel that extension. Keep that lunge in the left leg. Feel that lifting up out of the left hip. As you exhale, come down to the inside of the left leg for a half bound humble warrior. Let the neck be soft, let the head be heavy. Invite the breath to find balance between inhale and exhale. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no. Experiment with drawing the feet toward each other. Again, notice how you can deepen the stability, maybe even deepen the quality of that depth of fold. Another breath there, find lightness, relax that right hand down. Inhale. Sweep that left hand around to the outside of the left foot, lift both heels. Pivot on the ball, the right foot, inhale. As you exhale, step that right foot back. High plank, look forward. Inhale forward, exhale lower all the way down onto the mat. Take your right arm out to the right side, the palm faces down, your elbows around 90 degrees. So you might need to adjust the arm placement. Some people like it a little bit higher. Some people like to lengthen the arm out a little bit farther. This is entirely personal preference. It's not driven by a specific alignment. The sensations that we'll seek in this next movement are all about stretching the chest. It's not about overly opening up. So it's not about the destination, just about the feeling. You'll place the right side of the skull on the mat, press that left hand to that left long side of the mat, and begin to roll toward your right side. Depending upon your right shoulder, you might find you've met your edge pretty abruptly. So then we'll back off a little bit and then go deeper again. And if you need to adjust that right arm, you're welcome to do so. We'll play with this again, back off slightly. Inhale, exhale, go deep. Notice that that left shoulder is drawing away from the ear. And one more time like that. Inhale, soften, back off. Exhale, deepen. And then gently come all the way back to center. Drag that right arm in. Drag the elbow in. Let the hand just kind of slide across the floor. And we'll switch sides. The left arm comes out. You're finding that 90-degree angle or maybe a little bit greater. Left side is still on the mat. Right hand to the long side of the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, ground into that right hand. Start to open up to the right side. You're rolling to your left. Relax your face. Back off a little bit. Soften. Inhale. Exhale. Go a little bit deeper. Inhale. Back off. Exhale, go a little bit deeper. And one more time, inhale. Exhale. And gently come all the way back to the belly. So we'll try that again on the other side, but we'll add one more piece of activation. You're slowly dragging that left arm in. Right arm goes out, getting ready. And this time the right arm is an active participant. So last time it was just kind of out there. This time we're going to find opposition in it. So that left hand on the mat, right side of the skull on the mat. We begin to roll toward the right side, and then we find that edge place, and we press the right arm into the mat. So like you're trying to push your forearm through the floor, press the palm through the floor, and then soften everything. Go deep and press everything. Press that right arm, press the left hand, and soften. And one more time, go in and press. And soften and back off. Roll all the way to center. Switch sides. Left arm comes out. Left palm is facing down. Left side of the skull to the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, go in. Find that edge and press. Press the left arm. Press the right hand. Notice right shoulder has punched up into the ear. Draw that elbow down away. And soften. Go ahead and press to the exhale. Inhale, soften. And one more time. Press with the exhale. Inhale, soften. Take it all the way back to center. Drag that left hand in. Inhale. As you exhale, get light through the back of the skull. Bring the forearms onto the mat underneath the shoulders. So the elbows right under the shoulders. Forearms on the mat. The gaze is forward. We're in Sphinx pose. In Sphinx, it's quite active. So drawing the elbows back. Drawing the hips toward, if you could imagine, bring your hips in between your hands. And then the legs kind of press firmly into the mat. Those armpits draw in. The back of the skull is light. So think of reaching back and out through the back of the skull there. Inhale. Notice the stability that you've created. Notice the quality of foundation that you have. As you exhale, start to lift your hips up. Notice that you're not letting your hips lift too high. So you want to keep a nice neutral spine. Keep the front lumbar spine lifting. From there, you might tuck your toes and lift your thighs up, or you might keep that knees down and hips and shoulders on that diagonal line. So we'll play with this. Inhale. Go ahead and lower those hips down. So you can play with this between a forearm plank and a modified forearm plank, finding that sphinx pose, extension of the spine. Think of drawing your heart across the top edge of the mat, either with toes tucked or tops of the feet firm on the mat. Doesn't matter. You can take it all the way up, even with the tops of the feet. Exhale, feel for rounding through the spine, lifting, and then maybe you float those knees up, maybe keep those knees down, armpits draw in a lot. Inhale, find that extension in the spine, finding that sphinx pose one more time. Shoulders are probably quite tired. Maybe there's some shaking going on. Inhale. And one more time, exhale, feel for that rounding, hugging in and up through the bandhas. And then maybe it's that forearm plank. Maybe those hips go up a little bit farther and you start to walk the feet forward, finding dolphin pose. Maybe the knees come down. You find kind of a hybrid between table and dolphin. So there's lots of options there. Let's hold here for another few breaths. You're welcome to bring those knees down at any point if you would like. Inhale. On your exhale, the knees come down. Melt the hips back. Find a gentle child's pose. You can walk your hands out a little bit wider. You are welcome to bring your hands back by your feet for traditional child's pose. Feel for softening through the back of the heart, inviting the breath to be expansive between inhale and exhale. One more breath there like that. Inhale fully. As you exhale, gently rise. We'll come up towards hero's pose or a modified version by sitting on the feet. I know a lot of people struggle with hero's pose, not because of the knees or the quads, but because of the ankles. So a nice way to modify that would be, if you wanted to, you could take like a bath towel, like a rolled bath towel, and put that through the front of the ankle so you get just like a little bit of support. I don't have one to show you. I should have grabbed one earlier, but that would be how I would suggest modifying if that's the area that's tight for you. I've noticed that that's the case with a lot of my male clients specifically. So just breathing here, enduring the discomfort. So it might be painful. The pain isn't necessarily a bad thing. If it's in your knees, I invite you to lift up. So my primary focus here in terms of preventing injury would be the knees. The ankles can handle it. You're not going to injure your ankles. It's just not going to feel great. So we use this as an opportunity to get in and check in with the breath. Notice what happens to your body when you're in discomfort. Do you crawl away from it? Do you shut down? Do you hold your breath? Do you kind of soften and become small? Do you get really, really rigid, like you freeze and brace yourself? Just notice. Let's stay there for a few more breaths. See if you can relax your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath there like that. Inhale. On your exhale, come forward, hands onto the mat. Go ahead and tap out the tops of the feet. Bring some light back into them. Tuck the toes. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, those hips rise back and up, finding your downward facing. Invite those shoulders to roll out. So notice the space that you've created in down dog here. How have you transformed this pose? Observe the way that it feels. Down dog is one of my favorite postures in that it is kind of the litmus test of the practice. So we give ourselves the opportunity to have this repeated posture that we can then kind of compare throughout practice, and we get a nice measurement of the progress, the space, the heat, the energy of the practice. Let's stay here for another breath. Inhale. And then as you exhale, invite your hands to walk back toward your feet. So forward fold to the back of the mat this time. Lift and spread the toes. Inhale. As you exhale, roll all the way up to standing. Head comes up last. Float the arms up, the heart up, palms together. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll check in with some balance work here in standing. So your right foot will be your primary support for now. The left heel is light. Inhale. As you exhale, invite that left knee up toward the heart. Think of lengthening through the low back and lifting through the front lumbar spine. So you're stacking your spine there. Inhale.
Your hands can stay at the heart. A nice way to measure some other parts of the body with this would be to bring the hands to the hips. So if that feels like something you're inclined to do, please feel welcome. Otherwise, hands stay at heart. You can also take them out wide for balance. So I'll let you choose that. As you exhale, that left leg goes back and you're hinging at the hip. Now notice that you keep a micro bend in that right knee. You don't want to hyperextend the knee. The front of the left hip's pointing straight down. We're coming into warrior 3 or Virabhadrasana 3. So again, hands can be at heart. You can take airplane arms. Your shoulders might say, I don't know about that. Maybe you want to have the hands at the hips. Inhale. As you exhale, you're coming up tall. Hands come to the heart wherever they were. And that left knee comes back up toward the heart. So really lift it up. Think of lifting. When we lift our leg, we start by lifting it close to the spine. We're lifting it with a deep core. Inhale. As you exhale, let's go back into that warrior 3. Keep the low belly lifted as you come into warrior 3. Front of left hip pointing straight down. Shoulders open. Top of the skull reaches forward. Inhale. As you exhale, take it up tall. Left knee comes up into the heart. Inhale. On your exhale, gently place that left foot down next to the right. So that right leg's probably on fire right now. Shake it out. We'll get ready for the other side. Your left foot is your supporting foot. Option of wherever you want to have your hands. Hips, heart, wide. I'll let you choose. Maybe you want to interlace them behind your back. Try something different. Get ready. 3 points of the left foot support. Right heel's light. Inhale. Exhale. Take that right knee up toward the heart. So we're really seeking to find that lengthening through the low body and that lift through the inner body, that lift through the front body. Inhale. As you exhale, go ahead and take that right leg back. We're hinging at the hip. That left knee keeps a little micro bend to find that warrior 3, that Virabhadrasana 3. Inhale. On your exhale, go ahead and take it up tall. Right knee comes right up. Notice the transitional space. So less about the expression and more about where do you go when you're moving through space. Do you swing around that left hip? Can you navigate through it on a nice neutral line? Let's try it again. So it just depends on the way gravity comes through your joints and your bones. Maybe it feels like you have to kind of wobble and swing around it. Maybe it feels pretty fluid and you can hinge through it. Inhale into expression. Exhale with awareness, with curiosity. Go ahead and take it up tall. And then go ahead and release that right foot down next to the left. Float the arms up, the heart up. Inhale. On your exhale, invite your hips to reach back. Spark your toes, finding Utkatasana chair pose. Notice that you've got that deep lift through the inner body. Your hips are reaching back like they're about to sit down. Inhale. As you exhale, lower as deep as you can. Keep going. Lift your heels when you get to the point where your ankles need to. You can bring your hands down to modify. You can keep them overhead for more challenge. Maybe it's not about challenge. Maybe it's about just being kind to your shoulders. So I'll let you decide that. Right now we've got heels lifted. We're in a low crouch. Challenge to bring both knees down at the same time. So you might be a clunk, clunk, one then the other. Just notice, the first time I did this, it was really hard for me to get them both down at the same time. See how it goes. And then even more challenging, you gotta go back up. Inhale, prepare, exhale. Go ahead and float them up. Inhale, as you exhale, right back to that chair pose. We'll do that again. Inhale, exhale, go ahead and lower down. So experiment with where you want to have your arms and hands with them out wide. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do with them this time. Just experiment. See what feels most appropriate for you. The knees come down. You feel the fire through the tops of the feet. Shoulders relax. Inhale. Exhale. Both knees come up. Notice how much wobble happens. Inhale. As you exhale last time, chair pose. Feel the fire. Inhale. As you exhale, hands to the earth. Forward fold. Shake it out a little through those thighs. Inhale. As you exhale, hands walk out. Downward facing dog. Find lightness in your right foot. Inhale. As you exhale, right knee to the heart, and then that foot comes down behind the thumb. Step your left foot back a little farther. Bring the left knee down. You're welcome to tuck left toes or keep them untucked. Draw the hips straight back. Round into your right heel. Your hands are framing that right leg. Hands can be on blocks if you would like. And then begin to draw some circles with that right foot. So you're mobilizing the right ankle and you're opening up through the lower compartment of the right leg. Now notice that your hips haven't swung up to the left side. Try to keep them squaring somewhat to the top of the mat. If you're curious about reaching through your baby toe, try reaching through your great toe. Just notice all the hidden tension through the front of the shin there. All of that tibialis anterior, all those fibularis muscles. Just noticing that space. And then go ahead and come forward, planting that right foot on the mat, the knee above or behind the ankle. Left foot, either top of the foot or the toes tucked. I like toes tucked to make my knee feel better. Some people like it untucked. For me, that feels less stable. You'll invite your hands to your right thigh. And then start to feel the quality of lifting the inner body, lengthening the back body. So actively lifting the pubic bone up. Begin to float the back of the heart back, the back of the skull back. Option here of taking the arms back and up into Ajnasana. Option of keeping the hands down. So let you decide. Inhale. On your exhale, gently release. Hands come to the mat. Left toes are tucked. Inhale, left knee lifts. As you exhale, right foot quietly goes back, high plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower halfway or higher. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Get light in that left foot. Inhale. As you exhale, left foot comes behind left thumb. Right knee comes down. Right toes can remain tucked or untucked. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, hips draw back. Ground into that left heel. Circle out those left toes. There's all kinds of hidden tension in that left leg. Try reaching through your great toe. Try reaching through your baby toe. One of the primary sites of your awareness in space, of your balance, your proprioception, resides in the low leg. We've got two huge areas of neuromuscular awareness or proprioceptive awareness around your sense of space. One's in the low leg. One is right at the back of the skull. Plant that left foot on the mat, come forward, left knee above or behind the ankle, hands to the left thigh. Inner body lifts, the front of the lumbar spine lifts. So we're not letting our hips drop forward. We want to keep that opposing lift. Inner body lifts up, back body lengthens down. And then the back body has support as you float the back of the heart back. The inner body is still lifting, so we're not going to overextend ourselves or pop the belly up. We're going to keep that inner body lift. Option of taking the arms back and up, finding that Ajnasana. Option of keeping hands down. Notice what feels accessible. Gently release. Hands come to the earth. Get light in the right knee. Inhale, lifting that left knee as well. Exhale, step that left foot back, high plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower halfway or higher. Inhale, up dog. Invite the legs to rest on the mat this time. Exhale, happy puppy pose. Hands walk wide. Hips reach back and up. You're welcome to bring the chin to the mat. You can turn the head and rest the cheek to the mat. Inhale. As you exhale, gently rise. Find the center of your mat. Invite your feet out in front of you. So neither crossed nor kneeling, but feet in front. Hands can come to the shins. Grab your toes into the mat. Find extension. Inhale. As you exhale, round. When you round, press your feet firm to the mat. Notice that you're changing the shape, but you're not reducing the length. So you don't want it to be this smushed round. You want it to be this just kind of concave shape, the C curve. And then find the extension again. Inhale. Find the flexion again. Exhale. One more time like that. Inhale. And exhale. From that exhale, come all the way back to bring the forearms on the mat. So hands by your hips, elbows under the shoulders. Shoulders have stability. So we don't want to let our shoulders hunch up into our ears. Feel for hollowing out the armpits. Invite your feet up off the mat. Your lower legs come to like a tabletop height. Invite your lower back to draw down. So we're revisiting that rounded posture there. The low belly draws in, the outer sides of the abdomen draw to each other. Lower those right toes to the mat, keep the left leg stable. So like you're touching the right toes to test the water temperature. And then float it up. And switch sides. Left toes tip down and up. Right side, the toes come down and up. The idea is the upper body stays still, the lower body moves just slightly. Left side one more time. Find center. Both feet come down. Keep that low body drawing in, low back reaching toward the earth. And up, and then lower it all the way down onto your back. Bring the hands behind the thighs. Rest your head on the mat. Actively spark your toes. Press through your heels. Invite your arms out to cactus arms or goalpost arms. Inhale. As you exhale, you can bend your knees if you need to. Start to slowly lower those legs down toward the earth. Nice and slow. Keep pressing through the heels. Keep pressing your lower back to the mat. Gently, slowly, all the way down. And then soften and release. Inhale. On your exhale, slide your feet up. Your knees are bent. Inhale. As you exhale, allow your knees to fall out to the right side. You're welcome to place that right ankle to the outside of left knee. That can feel really nice. So just a very gentle reclined twist here. Inhale. As you exhale, gently take it back up to center. If that right ankle was across, keep it across. If it wasn't, place the right ankle across the left thigh and knee. So now you're in somewhat of a reclined figure 4. From here, that right knee drops forward. So if it's kind of up close to the hip, see if you can let it get as heavy as you possibly can. Like if you were seated, if you played yoga Tetris, right? And you were seated in a chair with that right ankle across the left thigh, that right knee would be dropping down toward the floor. Once you found that, begin to gently rock the left knee side to side, maybe about 4 inches either direction. Not a huge range of motion, just enough to passively take that right leg along. Feel the quality of softness through the right hip. Feel gravity coming down through that hip. See if you can feel it all the way through the joint into the lower back. So it's very passive. And then let that right foot slip down onto the mat, almost like the leg fell asleep. And we'll switch sides. So as knees drop out to the left, you're welcome to prop that left foot to the outside of the right thigh. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Relax your face. Let the back of the head be heavy. Let the neck be soft. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath there. Inhale. Exhale. Gently take it up towards center. That left ankle is across the right thigh. The left knee drops forward. And then when we find that softness in the left hip crease, that right knee begins to rock side to side, passively taking that left leg along. So what we're doing is we're releasing a deep muscle in the core of the body known as the iliopsoas. It grows out of the spine and it attaches to the inside of the femur bone. So when we take that left leg for the passive movement here, we're passively inviting that left psoas to release. We just did it on the right side. It's going to help a lot with low back stuff and core stability. Let that left foot slip down onto the mat. Feel for a quality of centeredness in your hips. So if you need to shift left or right, please feel welcome to do that. And then float your feet up off the mat. Invite your feet together. Let your knees come out. So you're in a Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined down angle. You can bring your hands to your shins. Notice that you're not floating your head up off the mat. So sometimes getting your hands there can be a bit of a challenge. Maybe you have to come up to get them there and then see if you can let your head rest again. Invite your feet toward your heart. If your elbows and your knees make contact, outstanding. If they don't worry about it. But if they do, maybe you start to kind of press those knees out and away and draw those shoulders wide. It's very much related to proportions. Some people that comes very naturally and easily. Some people, like I have a really long torso. It's hard for me to get my elbows to my knees because my torso is long. So it just depends on how you're built. It's not even about flexibility. Let's stay there for one more breath. And then allow the feet to part. So the soles of the feet point up to the sky. You are welcome to keep your hands on the shins. You can take them to the outer side of the foot if you can reach, or the inside of the foot. It's personal preference. Neither one is better than the other. It's just what feels best to you. Let your neck be soft, head be heavy. Begin to just find a little bit of a rock in your hips. I like to think of my tailbone as a compass here, so that rock turns into almost a swivel. And then softly release. From here, lengthen your legs out. Any last little movements that you need before Shavasana. So your arms can be down by your sides. Maybe you want to add a layer. Maybe you'd like to tuck something behind your knees and thighs. Shavasana is a very essential posture. I know it's very tempting to skip it. I invite you to be in it. One of the biggest challenges for so many people that practice yoga is just to take the time for Shavasana and be present in that pose. So I invite you to get comfortable, make the adjustments that you need, and then begin to allow your body to have this time to let go. Shavasana is when your mind and your body integrate the practice. You take all the information that you gleaned
And then you start to soften around that information so that it can imprint into the nervous system. Letting go of anything that no longer serves. Shavasana translates to corpse pose. It is the final resting place of the practice. It's the depth of the practice. So we lay to rest anything that doesn't serve us. Maybe some of it was frustrating. Maybe some of it was a little bit overwhelming. Maybe some of it challenged attention. So we just lay that stuff to rest for now and allow the body to be in peace. We have a few minutes left. My voice will guide you when it is time to rise. Please feel welcome to let your eyes remain closed. Let your tongue rest on the roof of the mouth. Allow the back of the skull to be heavy, the neck soft, the throat relaxed, the arms heavy, the hands soft, the hips heavy, the knees relaxed, the ankles soft, the feet at ease. Finding that place of silence to breathe, no agenda with inhale or exhale, just allowing it to be that quiet space for the next minute or so. We'll remain here for about 9 more breaths. Another few breaths here. And then allow movement to come into your fingers and toes. Maybe you circle your ankles and your wrists. When it feels good, perhaps you sweep your arms overhead, reaching through hands and feet, and then let that reach become passive. Let the backs of the hands rest on the floor. Notice the proximity of the arms to the floor. So if your right shoulder is really tight, you might notice it's floating up a little bit more. Maybe it feels a twinge of discomfort. Just observe it. Just notice. And then gather yourself into center. Invite those knees over the hips. Invite the feet off the mat. The hands can come behind the thighs. Rest through the shoulders. Rest through the elbows. Let your feet come up to the sky. Inhale, the hips lift. As you exhale, you're welcome to rock and roll. Come up towards seated. You can come up with a few rocks. You can come up with one rock. Let it be your own interpretation of that transition. Once you've risen, find seated. And again, whatever your habit is, switch it up. And I promise you, over time, eventually you won't know which one's dominant. It takes a little while, but at some point you'll go to switch it up and you'll be like, I don't know which one it is. And that's a really fun moment. So just breathing here and observe the alchemy of your practice. Notice the transformation that you have created in this hour of practice, the way that you have chosen to set intention and breathe, and the way that that has integrated fully into your being. Invite your hands to the heart. Invite your heart to the hands. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Let it out through an open mouth. From heart center, let your thumbs float up to the space between your brows to wisdom center. The divine light in me honors and feeds the divine light in you. When we are in that place, we are one. Together we bow and share the word. Namaste. Thank you so very much. If you have any questions, please feel welcome to ask. You're always welcome to send me a note if something comes up for you later. Thanks so much for practicing with me.
Have a good night.